This is Tuna Ballet with a captain's vlog and update on my progress during the stitch along that I've joined week 3, lesson 3. Um, Also, I'll probably be whip stitching along the sides of the sleeve, perhaps. Maybe, maybe not. I might wait because I might need to depending on how this goes, I need to maybe refer back to the tutorial. So I've been going, hold on, where is my needle? Oh Lord. I just realized, okay, I put it up. Yay, I'm so cool. Okay. I was making sure my darning needle was where it needed to be. Okay, I'm gonna put my sleeve to the side at the moment and get to the captain's vlog. Okay, so captain's vlog. Uh-oh, what'd I do? Okay, so captain's vlog. Let me get comfy. Let me relax things a bit because I just completed one of the sides of the sleeve, making it two sides completed, and now I have to whip up the sides to the top of the sleeve, and then I have to do the next sleeve. But before I do the next sleeve, before I begin the next sleeve, um, the designer recommends going ahead and whip stitching up the part that we had just worked on to the top of the sleeves. So I'll go ahead and do that. So that's the next step. So what have I done off stream? Okay, so the previous stream I was whip stitching motifs together. After I got those completed, um, I began the next step, which is the neck, the back neck part um, for the sides that I'm creating. So, well, all the sizes have to do that. So I did that, and then I began the sleeves. So that's where I'm at. Like these are the magic stitches to me. The back part and the sleeve stitching part are the magic. Like that's the magic. That's what uh makes this jacket design so like unique is the stitching that's added along with the motifs. Um, so yeah, I finished one both sides of the sleeve. I just have to sew it to the top, to the tops. I'm taking a bit of a rest, taking a bit of rest at the moment because I just finished it. I was working on that for a while, for a while. Um, I don't know. I didn't clock it. I didn't care to clock it. I just was cared to focus and listen to the instructions and compared the instructions to the um, pattern. Uh, I didn't do that all the way. I just did it some of the way because I did like it kind of seemed like a kind of just a little bit of like different directions was going on. Um, I guess that was like saying like as long as you, and that's what she said too, as long as you get there, that's what matters. So I just was creating those sleeves and those stitches. Whew, with with the stitches. So yeah, that's the magic piece. Like I kind of haven't soaked it in just yet. Uh, I guess I was soaking it in while I was creating the stitches. Uh, because right now it's like woo. And I could do the whip stitching now. I just noticed that there was like a few mistakes that were being made when I was doing the whip stitches while I was talking. I also caught a few live knots. Like I went to stitch into a whip stitch, a couple of them, and they were loose. So I'm like, how is a knot loose in a whip stitch? How did I do that? So I had to catch that uh catch those loose knots because they were loosening. They weren't just loose, they were loosening. And uh so I caught them and re-knotted them with the knot. Not exactly sure how that happened. I'm trying to think because I created knots. I created a couple of knots that were so taut. Whoa. But yeah, they were loose. So I'm thinking may need to go through my jacket and check the squares um for that in the whips. Cause I'm trying to think, well, like what side was that? What side was that? Was that the side that I knotted off on, or was that the side that I tied before I began? Because I saw a side today that I had tied before I began, and boy, that thing, whew, I tied that thing. So I'm like, well, maybe it's not the tied side, maybe it's the other side. I don't know. And yeah, I think it is. I think it's the other side because I did kind of feel that knot like moving back. Like I did what the person said to do, how to knot the whip stitch after you done, go back behind the loop and pull tight. I did that, I still felt the yarn coming up, like, and that's how it was when I saw it. Like it was coming up and loosening out, like it wasn't knotted. But to knot it, I reiterated what I was told, how I was told to knot it, and then it worked. So I'm not sure what happened the first time, why it didn't catch on. And that is a lot of motifs. I'm gonna have to check that to see if any other of them are doing that. But yeah, I didn't notice it. I don't know. I just pulled it tighter and cut my yarn and kept going. Yeah, it was loosening. I went through the tutorial um, of the assembling step by step. I followed that, followed the tutorial, followed the pattern back and forth with the three. Okay, maybe I need to put my music. I need to put my music on the other thing. Hold on. And the pattern is, whoa, going through with the designer. The designer is speaking the pattern. That I saw. So yeah, celebration is due. Um, motifs completed. Uh, gotta check them though. I gotta check them. They together though, but they need to be checked. Um, back back stitching is completed, and what else? First two parts of the sleeves are completed. So let me know where you're at in the stitch along process. I haven't posted all my pictures yet. I went to do that yesterday. I went to post my stacks of motifs. So now I got stacks of motifs and I got well not I got a picture. I ain't got no stacks of motifs. I got them things sold up. So ain't no stacks of motif over here. I did that. I sold them up. And then what's up with my knot? I did what the tutorial said, how to knot the thing. mm Because if that's the case, like I'm gonna have to go through all of them because I did the same thing to all of them. I knotted them the same way. And if those two were coming loose, then I need to go back in and check the rest of them. That was not on the agenda. That is what do you call it? Added an add-on. Goodness, that's an add-on. So I'll have to do that. Yep, all the stacks of motifs have been depleted and added to the body and sleeves of the project. Now, what is it? It's Sunday. This is my first time with an assignment throughout the whole week. Um, Working on assignment throughout the whole week. I'm trying to think. I think I might have started on this on, yeah, I think I started on it on Tuesday. I think. Studied it on Monday. physically started working on it on Tuesday. Unless you count brain power as physicality. So, it's Sunday, and it's a few pieces that have to be done. I'm thinking that'll be all right, considering this was a pretty big piece. This week's assignment was uh um had magnitude. Like we had to put the squares together. First of all, we had to learn a new square, which I didn't do. Um, I did watch the tutorial on it, um, and I did see that I almost had it right. I did not have it anywhere near too right, with my finished square. Um, so I'm glad for the tutorial because this tutorial is like the only tutorial that's doing it this way, um, that I've seen so far. And yeah, I haven't learned that square yet because I was already making my own rendition. So yeah, we had a lot to do this week. We had we were introduced to a new motif as well as having to create it and put all the squares together and add the stitches. Add the stitch and yeah, I pulled up some videos to learn some of this stuff, like how to add how to do the whip stitch and looking at how to knot and stuff. And so it was some research involved, not just doing the assignment, but actually researching how to do the assignment. So this was a big assignment here. Um, Sunday. I think yesterday I want to say I only worked on the sleeve, but actually earlier that yesterday I worked on the back neck part. So I worked on two pieces. Um, I actually worked on more than that. I had to put the sleeves together before adding the stitches. So yeah, that was done. All that was done yesterday. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was a lot done yesterday. Today it would just be whip stitching and stitches. I don't know why I said just be, because that's all it's being all this week is whip stitching and stitches. Oh, it'll be a continuation of whip stitching and stitches till you get them done. And oh my goodness, those knots I thought I was making really wasn't knots at all. On those two motifs. Perhaps I started making knots, but no, I think I did each knot the same. I mean, each motif the same way. I went back behind the loop, uh but it was coming right on out. Like my whip stitches, if I had kept pulling, my whip stitches would have. So I don't know. I guess I need to. Well, I don't have any more whip stitches, but what I would like, I'm thinking of doing is like re-watching maybe. I did what she did. I did what she did. Like I did what she did. But maybe I'll go back and watch again. Maybe look at somebody else. I don't want to watch her no more. Like I watched her already, and this is the results that I got. Uh, this is somebody different from my the designer. This is just like a random video I chose to see how to whip stitch. So maybe what I'll do is I'll look up like specifically how to knot off, how to knot your yarn. You know, how to knot your whip stitch. That's what I need to know specifically. How to knot your whip stitch. Now, is there a specific video for that? 'Cause that's what I could use right there. Let me, I'm gonna look it up right now. Um, how to knot your whip stitch yarn. Okay, I see sewing. That's why I said yarn. How to crochet whip stitch seaming. I already watched that and did what she did. But I'm looking and I'm seeing this sewing one, and the sewing one is making sure that the other end isn't in the way. I didn't do that. So maybe I went back through the loop and didn't create a knot. Perhaps. Let me look. I'm gonna check out this sewing one and see how she get her nut. Okay. Okay, she's saying tuck your needle under the whip stitch, leaving a loop, then go under the loop, pull twice, or no, pull and then do that twice, once more. Like go into what you just created from doing those steps once more. Let me see somebody with some yarn. Because I did not do that. All I did was tuck it under the stitch and pulled tight and kept going. And cut my yarn. Let me check this one. Okay, this video is going through the steps of whip stitching right from the beginning. Uh-oh. Okay, hold on. Okay, that video didn't even show how to make a knot. It didn't even show how to knot the stitch off. Okay, how to knit whip stitch stockinette stitch piece. Oh boy, y'all not gonna show. Okay, let me see if this video will show me. Okay, that video didn't tell me how to knot in either. So I don't know. Like, are we just assuming people know how to knot? I didn't think it was gonna be so trivial to learn how to knot. Mm, okay, maybe it's not necessary. Get it? Not necessary. All right. Okay, so the sewing video that I saw with the thread, that was the most uh answer that I got. So if I, what do you call it? Apply that to the yarn, then that'll be a knot to knot it like that. So that was a good, if that's the answer that I can get, I'm going to, let's see, get that video and then try it with my yarn, which, like I said, like, I don't know, when I did that technique the second time, it worked, it seemed. So maybe I did something different and it seemed, it's similar, but it seemed different. That's what I'm thinking. I did something similar. I also I also read some yesterday while I was crocheting. So that was pretty um, experimental because I started and then stopped and I didn't know. I was like, I don't know. It might be a serious But yeah, I gave it another go and it went well. I did stop it because it was like a lot of information. Like it's a reference book that I'm reading. So I was able to read the first half. I could have kept going with the second half. I just wanted to make sure that I was attentive. So I stopped that and I also listened to some music, crochet to the beat a couple of times. To the beat of the song.